Hey everybody, clearing. All right, this is going to be a divine masculine check-in. I've actually tried to do this reading 2 other times today and have needed to be pulled away for other reasons. So I feel like there's a lot of distractions going on for you masculines in this process at this time, a lot of demands, a lot of things vying for your attention. If this has found you, may you be blessed, and let's get into a support read for you masculines. So feminines cross-watching, you can glean things from this, but I'm not going to pull from a deck that's specifically what the feminines need to know. This is all about the DMs, and let's begin. So thank you, Divine Creator. What is the alchemical energy these masculines need to be aware of at this time? Oh, gold. So interesting, because the feminines have been getting this lead anchor imagery through the Lion's Gate, and of course the alchemist turns the lead into gold, the transmutation. So as the feminines are being asked to be in the eye of the storm as this lead anchor in safety, in peace, in bliss, seeking instruction on Most High, masculines are coming out with this gold energy. So this is the alchemical process you're being asked to look at. Gold. The alchemist's gold is no ordinary gold. It is not found in rings or coins or necklaces. It is a substance buried deep within, sometimes referred to as gold of the wise, philosophic gold, the ethereal stone, or the divine quintessence, among countless other names. For our purposes, we seek not the physical metal, but the mystical essence within each alchemist. How do we recognize it? It mimics qualities of the metal itself, soft and radiant, and its planetary counterpart, the sun, warm and bright. It's no wonder gold is associated with the heart. When this card arrives, there's something incredibly valuable at hand. It is marvelous and rare. Cherish it. Get to know its properties and its source. The gold card carries a distinct shadow. If mistaken for a purely physical material, it can lead to greed and excess, causing the alchemists to lose their way. Reverence is the key. Okay, so this is your heart, masculines. To ponder, it says, every path is a noble path. You can do no wrong. You've always been where you need to be for the exact awarenesses and mastery that you're working on as a soul in human form. Your heart holds the key, this gold, this pure gold. It's at the center of everything for those who have eyes to see. My mom always told me when I was little that heaven is made of pure gold, and it's so pure that it's invisible, yet it's all around us at all times for those who have eyes to see. And we access that through listening to the purity of our own hearts and that golden soft guidance voice that is found within. Okay, so let's look at this journey, masculines, how this journey with your feminine is shaping this golden opportunity for you at this time. Thank you, Divine Creator, for using me as a channel of only the highest, most beneficial information coming through for the divine masculines and the advice most needed at this time to assist their journey, their becoming. So we are in Lionsgate Portal. We are also in Mercury retrograde. So a lot of past energies are going to be coming in for your consideration to see how you feel and think about those things at this time compared to times in the past, previous cycles. As we go through these cycles, we're going up an octave. Every time they come back around, we're up an octave in our maturity and our understanding. And so it's not that it's a repeat of history, it's another opportunity to see and mark our progress. Okay, so conscious mind about the connection, transformation, and we get King of Pentacles, the commitment card. So this is the death rebirth. Right now, this is a period of time for you to tune into this gold within your heart, because this is the version of you that is transcending the previous lower versions, when you have been more driven by ego, fear, survival. There's a transformation going on, and you are becoming this commitment ready, embodied energy that is accountable in the material realm, that is steadfast and true, not stubborn and prideful. So there's a transformation here going from the ego to the energetic savvy, from the lower world to the ascended. What do you need to know about this in your journey? That it's your free will. You're only as far or near from something as you can conceive you are, and it's only as easy or difficult as you think it is. This card in this position, not in the upright, shows that you are beginning to see with accuracy what you put out is what you get back. It may not be a direct translation, but this journey is showing you that when you put out solid, legitimate, authentic energy, you get that response. When you put out misleading or inauthentic energy, you will get something undesirable coming back. So you're being asked to really look at this golden tone in your heart space and to represent that in all things. It is not feminine to be in your truth. It's not a pushover, weak energy to advocate for this pure tone in your heart space, masculines. It's a really important message for those who can conceive of what was just said. You are not too feminine or weak for advocating for your heart. That actually is the alignment, the truth that sets you free and allows you to be consistent without that internal war. As you affirm your worthiness to be in alignment with that deepest knowing and resonance, your external world begins to fall into place. What can we see for how this connection with specifically your feminine, how they've influenced your journey consciously? 9 of Fire, this destined path, the star here is emerging. This is the perseverance. It feels like a long haul. It feels like stamina is required to continue on this journey that you just can't seem to shake. Put down, let go. It's continuing to whittle away at karma and pride and ego. This is the Wounded Warrior card, but in this deck, it's the promise of what is to come. It's not so much to be frustrated with those repeat cycles or those patterns that seem to be exaggerated with this feminine in some way. When we can see something and we become aware of the endurance, the perseverance, when we're conscious of that, it is on the way to transmutation. It's when we are naive to it, ignorant to it, we're not seeing these things yet, that they have the power over us. When we can observe ourselves at these developmental stages that seem to be frustrating or disempowering or repeat patterns, that is when we can take a stand and say, how am I generating this pattern? What can I do differently? The Wounded Warrior energy implies that there is a wounded aspect to the pattern that is playing out over and over from your side of it, but that is part of your destined path, masculines. And your feminine is the one that brings this, magnifies this in your reality. And so it may feel inconvenient at some times, but it is the path towards your greatness, is what I'm hearing. Your star path of destiny is on the other side of this aversion or repelling energy, or this guarded energy, or this supportive energy. It can also come through in this translation as a level to attain or rise up to, or a particular potential that you know to be your highest potential, that this feminine requires in their energy for you to attain, for you to feel like you can give them what they deserve. So this is really a stamina card, and there are a lot of different ways of looking at it, but right now it is for you to look at. This person is faced away from the connection on my table, and so it is for you to ascribe the meaning of what this pattern and process is doing for you regarding your path. Okay, let's resume. So my iPhone just did a nice function. I actually had to get the door, pressed pause. I didn't know I could pause recording. Yay, go iPhone. All right, so let's get into this again. So masculines, with regard to your feminine, there's this, wait, I'm not quite there yet. I haven't quite achieved the awarenesses that I need. You're meant to be utilizing this time, losing yourself into not the fear of losing your feminine, but really discovering what you're being called for. There's a deep soul searching for both polarities at this time. Wow, and the 9 of Wands. To clarify here, oh, I just peeked and saw the Queen of Pentacles now. So we've got the Queen and King of Pentacles as a couple. I'm going to leave that one for the next round here. However, we do have this perseverance, the stamina. So this message is, your feminine is also dealing with this test of endurance, this test of capacity, this growth expanding experience. It's not just you, but one of the most self-loving things that we can do is to know we're not going to run out of time for the love of a lifetime by doing it right, by focusing on what we need. Your divine feminine will be given the instructions by God to be in the alignment that they need to be. They take their instruction from the divine, not from what their ego mind feels is going on or they're triggered by. So they are also tapping into this stamina, but with the inverted 9 of Wands card here, they are okay. They're okay for you to really focus on your becoming at this time, masculines. What is your advice? Pray to be shown the revelation of things that you have not allowed yourself to go that far out with. That doesn't mean woo-woo. It just means that you're so fixed in the material realm. Duty, obligation, people-pleasing, jumping through other people's hoops, worrying about image, worrying about status, worrying about what the material standards are. When you take all of that pressure off, even just for 20 minutes a day, masculines, and you deliberately ask to be shown the bigger picture, the meaning, the value, the fulfillment, the things to be grateful for, where your golden guidance can be heard. This is saying continue to be deliberate in asking with your free will to be shown specific things about how to come into your spiritual potential, how to continue bringing all of the things you're guided to do in the physical in with accountability, with energetic balance, with righteousness. That is how you finesse this very advanced way of navigating your material realm into a noble thing. You have to consciously ask to be shown how to blend the energetic righteousness with what you're doing in the physical. So I'm speaking to a group of masculines that are very competent in cracking the code of material realm securities. So you are good at logic, reason, formulas, accumulation of energy, can be finances, can be influence. this group of masculines also is very good at charisma and generating momentum when you allow yourself to. Many of you, I'm actually getting that there has been almost like a cult-like following in some regard. Without even trying, you've noticed from a young age you have had influence over others. And there's been this strict standard to live up to. That, whether you've been conscious of it or not, the people-pleasing and fear of rocking the boat also comes in confirming that you have a high responsibility on your life because you know others are watching you closely. And so this is a time to ask for spiritual guidance direct from source so that you can continue to be accountable for that responsibility as you continue to grow into it and the shoes become the right size to step into here. So we're at the 9 of Wands out of the 10, which reduces to that life purpose and life path. So for many masculines here, you have been undergoing further studies, whether brick and mortar or self-directed, and your feminine has in some regard offered you a sense of support with regard to this individuation path. So whatever this path is, I heard, and I digress. So you are digressing from the known path. You're stepping onto the path less traveled, and you are individuating from your family group, your friend group, your norms. This can be a radical change in direction after having devoted yourself to a certain path previously. But when we see the Wands suit getting closer to the Ace of Wands, it talks about a whole cycle, likely a decade or more, of specific karmic patterns that are also ready to release. And so it is a very auspicious time to start to open up to being shown your own trauma wounds, your own trauma bonds, your own codependent patterns, and to really begin to release those as you're elevating as this King of Pentacles, grounded in healed root chakra energy, because this is where the imposter syndrome is released. So as you clear certain blockages and hindrances due to your conditioning and the karmic patterns, the codependent patterns that you've been acting out, manifesting, playing out, as you see those for what they are and you release them, you will be freed to have more impact in the world in a genuine way, with authentic leadership, with divinely aligned empowerment. That doesn't mean you have to preach in a divine way. It does mean that you're backed by that awareness that there are truths that govern the games of the material realm and higher truths that govern the forces and the laws of the cosmos. What can we see for the heart space? We get the Page of Water, which is surrendering to this feminine as a long-standing pillar in your journey, in your life. This is a wifey card. This is the counterpart of the King of Pentacles. This is flanked on the other side of this 9 of Wands, which is this perseverance and soul path level learning, soul searching. And so for all of you who are watching this, I'm getting that you definitely know that you have a feminine counterpart that is going through very same but different life circumstances where they are completely reinventing themselves in a new and improved, more stable, more grounded, more rooted way. And there is a deep invitation here on the heart space to acknowledge that camaraderie, but also the alignment. So I'm hearing compatibility, but consider the word compatibility in relation to the word alignment. When we're looking at good on paper relationships and things that are workable in the material realm, we're looking for compatibilities. We're looking to see if the aspects click or fit in a logical way. When we're looking at divine love and authentic alignment, we're looking at the things that may not be simply of that mechanical nature. And we're now seeing the elements of righteousness, the embodiment of, I'm hearing code of conduct, morals, integrity, authenticity. We're looking at a genuine expression of core. This gold energy is coming in. You're looking for that heart of gold. And seeing that you indeed have been paired through unusual circumstances with a feminine energy with a heart of gold. So at very minimum, you're meant to celebrate that right now, that you know of, and that there is in your vicinity a feminine who has a pure heart of gold. That is a humbling awareness to have and to surrender to. I do not see you in this energy, masculines, having feminine energy on a pedestal, because that would be these rosy sunglasses where all that glitters is not gold. You are genuinely starting to see this feminine in your orbit as having a pure heart of gold. And that is enough in and of itself right now to feel the reality of. And so you're just being guided to open to that at this time. What is your advice regarding it? Okay, use your own intuition. So this feminine is showing up as the Queen of Cups, is very psychic, intuitive, but you are meant to explore the awareness of your feminine psychic intuitive giftings in such a way that you do not blindly assume that they are correct, or that you have to comply just because they are feeling a certain way. So I do sense a kind of testing in the energy. Do not be malicious or immature about it, however. Do not try to tempt fate, I just heard, because that will backfire. But genuinely look at the resonance. And this is on your heart space, masculine. So this is one of those experiences or times in the journey where you're being given an opportunity through the spaciousness to be able to tune into your feminine and to decide, discern, feel into the accuracy of where you see alignment or misalignment in how your feminine expresses what they share with you, what you feel their intent and frequency is telling you. You do not have to assume your feminine is perfect, infallible, but this is an exercise in being curious as to why this particular feminine is front row and center in your orbit. And so this is an exercise in attuning with your own guidance system to really look at the things. I heard pros and cons, but it's not a matter of pros and cons so much as it is what you believe to be authentic and what isn't quite there yet. And so as you're learning to see through this spiritual lens, where you're looking for this heart of gold, where you're affirming it, this is where no matter what your feminine is saying or doing, this is where you get to attune your knowing of the character, integrity, righteousness of this feminine. And it's sort of one of those things that you gain the access to, like being handed a set of keys when you get to a particular purity that you are able to conceive of and see on that level. So you don't get to this doorway until you yourself have refined your own righteousness in that purification process, where it becomes relevant for you to actually begin witnessing and observing someone on this kind of level with this sort of criteria. Before you get to this level of alignment yourself, you will not be given individuals in your path that are capable of meeting you on this level because you're not emanating that energy yet. And so that you find yourself at this point of contemplation, it is a beautiful confirmation that you have arrived at a level of purity where you're now gaining access to this heavenly gold type of relationship. Many times on this journey, there will be people who resemble gold, and in stages and degrees, we process and we decide through our free will if that is true, or we leap and hope the net will be provided, and then we have to dig ourselves out of it eventually. But right now, regardless of who you're watching this for, masculines, you're being asked to look at the character, the energy, the fruits of this particular feminine through an objective lens, and not through your fear, but not through what they're saying. Hold the divine hand, go in there with the Holy Spirit, and ask to be shown the truth of this feminine's integrity and character, especially in areas that may have confused you previously with other people or with this particular connection. What can we see for the Heart of Hearts for your feminine here? 8 of Air in the inverse. This is a card of being all trapped and powerless in your own thinking and not knowing where to move the energy or how to progress because directly of the faulty logic that you're telling yourself. In the inverse like this, it's actually a breakthrough that you're catching yourself out on telling yourself things that are not true. And you're beginning to question because this connection is standing the test of time, because your person is not moved by your fear, your skepticism, your acting out, your rebellion. When we're in the 8 of Swords, we tend to project a certain kind of feigned stoicism. It's a defensive, avoidant, dismissive, denial kind of energy. When we start to become honest with ourselves and when we start to move through the fear, the cracks in that logic start to fade or to appear. And it feels as though, masculines, you're starting to believe that your feminine isn't going anywhere. They're not going to abandon you. They're not going to use the connection against you. They're not going to manipulate. They're not going to become Jekyll and Hyde. And so it's like you're coming out of your shell because the things you've told yourself about feminine energy, about this person, about all people are not holding water in this regard because this is a divine love. And we get 5 of Cups. So you may have thought you needed to grieve this connection many times before. Possibly you're in separation now and you're coming through the abrupt edge of fearing, like, here we go again, it's disconnected, this is surely it for good. I just saw 2911 when I said that. The 5 of Cups is a mourning, grieving, 5 stages of grief. But in the inverse, it's like, wait a second, do I really need to grieve the loss of this connection? That might be that trapped and powerless thing where we become spastastic and we just kind of blow something out of the water and then go, oh no, what did I do? And then go into disintegration because we screwed it up again. That didn't happen fully this time is what I'm getting. And that logic, that immaturity, that trigger happy energy doesn't hold water here. So something is being shown to you that just because you're afraid, this says Lord of Loss and Pleasure. So just that you're afraid that things cannot be sustained in this connection, you may have left this person before they could leave you. This is a tender spot to be in, because it looks like in your heart of hearts, you know that this feminine is not actually off abandoning you in light of whatever has transpired. And so those ideas about being left for dead and screwing it up royally and finally doing the unforgivable, those things are not so easy to uphold. They are not the truth. They do not resonate as this golden energy. What is your advice? Yeah, see it for this devil trauma. Trauma's a bitch, I just heard. Those self-defeating, undermining patterns, the wounded patterns that have caused sabotage, self-sabotage, sabotage of the connection, projection, negative projection onto your feminine, these are devil energies. You're being asked in your heart of hearts to come to your senses and stop this, masculines. Stop this. I'm just hearing the divine saying you have divine backing, permission to stop this self-sabotage, to stop this disingenuous way of representing the wound as though it is your truth, masculines. The divine is saying, literally, I'm hearing repent and don't do this anymore. Because that gold tone in your heart is a deeper, more integral part of your spirit than the wounding. If you look at it and feel it as the concentric rings of a tree, that core column is the divine. And the fear-based things that you have been moving and acting out are not in that central column. They are periphery, they are layered, they are shells, they're veils, they are protection walls, constructs. And so you're being asked to really specifically look at your feminine here on the heart of hearts. They cannot be lost. They are in that center column with divine love. And they are beyond these cycles of pain and fear and wounding. This is why you know in your heart that they are unshakable, that this is an unbreakable bond, is because you know that when your fear is there, they can see that's not your truth. No matter what you say to them, no matter how you act out, they see it as this wounding. You've never been loved so much for others to see you that way, not in a romantic sense. Friends, maybe family, maybe humoring you, having agendas. But as far as true love, this feminine is in your heart of hearts here. I heard as a soul conqueror. I heard Bob Marley. I heard Duppy Conqueror as well. What are these masculines? What are you being asked to manifest at this time? Ten of Air, it's really looking at the strife and struggle and insincere actions based on this abandonment wound. We hurt the ones we love the most, and you truly are pushing your feminine the hardest, but they are also the strongest, most divinely guided person you've ever been gifted into your life. And so while they can withstand it, do they really need to anymore, masculines? Do they really need to be that strong? Can you find it inside of yourself to begin to believe and to be that strength that you're trying to test your feminine to have? Your feminine will have this spiritual, emotional strength that you may have lacked, but the tables are turning because these connections are healing, and your feminine doesn't want to have to be that strong. Your feminine does not like being in that position, and this is truly one of those self-fulfilling prophecies that when you put your feminine in that position and ask them to let go, the only thing that they can do is let go and let you be in this hell with the devil. Now, that's no way to love. That's no way to connect. It's part of the proving ground. It's part of the spectrum of experiences that we must encounter as masters in the making. But it's not meant to be the permanent solution. It's not meant to be a stronghold that needs to exist indefinitely. We are at the 10 of air here and the 5 of wands. The 5 of wands is a choice point to continue behaving and patterning this way, or to get off that bus and do it differently. What is your advice here? Call yourself out on these behaviors and thought patterns. Call yourself out when you feel triggered. Call yourself out. Begin putting the brakes on before you act out these things. Witness them. Understand it's just wounding. It's nothing personal. You are no different than anyone else who is caught in this fallacy. And you alone can put your sword down and stop acting. With the sword in the inverse like this, with the card upside down, it really is you taking a stand instead of speaking from this feigned authority that is the fear talking through you, that you're giving away your power to it, and you're just, saying these dastardly things to do whatever you can to disconnect when challenged, when triggered in the energy. This is taking a stand to not say or do something in those moments, to not perpetuate the pain, to not carry it forward like that. So this is the way to put the brakes on this self-sabotage and to begin to really embody love, masculines. What is it that you are meant to manifest here? Wheel of Fortune and Queen of Wands. There's your divine feminine spiritual essence coming in here. So just know that this connection has been bringing you into energetic accountability, this refining, these patterns, your feminine being in their spiritual uprightness is allowing you to attune your own accountability on an energetic level. This is the yin-yang. This is the way that the feminine's internal masculine helps them support you emotionally and energetically, whereas your feminine internal energy helps you support your feminine in the material realm physically, providing and protecting in the physical. This is the complementary energy coming in to sync up, to bring in the synergy. The Wheel of Fortune is here, and so you are meant to activate this Wheel of Fortune by stepping into your potential and off of this hamster wheel of self-sabotage. What can we see as your advice? Now we get the King and Queen of Swords. So we've had the King and Queen of Pentacles. We have the King and Queen of Swords here. We do have the Queen of Wands. I'm wondering if we had the King of Wands already. We had the Queen of Cups. So we have many queens and kings here. This is excellent. That's not by chance that we have these coming in. These are the pillars of the feminine and masculine in the Empress and the Emperor, which are a divinely aligned couple. So we're getting many of the energies here. But your advice is tact, timing, grace. Again, we have this sword that's not doing or saying things that are out of alignment. So this is you softening that need to be trigger happy and really sitting with not running, not recoiling, not sabotaging. Staying power is what I'm getting from that, masculines. What is your biggest challenge at this time? Wow, the Queen of Air, that you have not been in this energy. You've allowed your emotions to wreak havoc on your connection, on the way you interact, the way you communicate, out of alignment. So your biggest challenge is that you have lashed out at your feminine in ways, or withheld in ways, that have not represented your truth accurately. They have not been genuine. Three of Pentacles. The challenge is that there's been much more energetically going on than just what's played out in the physical. This imbalance in the way you've communicated or withheld communication has had an energetic purpose and root that is a challenge to take accountability for, because usually we don't see our own blind spots. We don't catch ourselves out on these things. When we know better, we will do better. And so that there is still this pattern going on, masculines, that you're being asked to transmute it into this pure gold. That means seeing, what is it, the plank in your own eye instead of the splinter in someone else's. It's time to really look at this stuff that you have been carpet sweeping about your own behavior, your own way of interacting, and really understand you don't need that protection mechanism in your life. It's not serving anymore. What is your advice? Doing the work to shift the paradigms within you so that you see how your lack of accountability for the way that you interact is coming from wounding, and it's not this deepest golden truth. And so just asking yourself what that contrast is, the golden truth, that essence at your core, versus the fears that come in, or the tendencies you have to repeat certain patterns. Just witnessing the difference between the two gives you permission to decide which one feels better to you. This is the challenge, is that there is a pattern of behavior and communication here that has no longer, it's past its expiration date, and it's time to change it, to allow it to fall away, and to have your authentic golden truth come to the forefront now. It's safe. The coast is clear. What can we see for the solution to this challenge? The Four of Earth, to trust the safety, the foundation, to feel your stability. You have come a long way since you were that wounded, scared child. I'm hearing you've become the version of you that could have kept little you safe when you needed that. And so it's time to come to the forefront as that version that has developed that could keep little you safe. It's time for little you not to be in fear anymore. And it's time for your potential to come out. Knight of Cups, this is the self-love. You made it, masculines. You've made it. You've gotten there. It's time to show the world the real you. It's time to show yourself the real you. It's time to put down the armor. It's time to put down the fear. It's time to really celebrate every little opportunity you have to not be that wounded version of self anymore. There is no punishment or condemnation in this message. It's a message of celebration that you have arrived here, and that it's time to see yourself that way and to be that golden version of yourself. It requires you letting go of the constructs. What is the advice? It also requires you looking at the embarrassment, the foolishness, the feelings of hypocrisy, imposter syndrome. it really does require you to say and admit and take accountability for you being out of alignment, and to be honest with yourself about how badly that feels. The buck stops here, I heard. The new beginning is waiting right on the other side of it, but it does require you to change your game and literally speak from that which you do desire and wish to experience, not from the fear and not from that opposite day's energy where you are proclaiming that you don't want exactly what you do want. Hypocrisy, again, there's an energy of hypocrisy here. When we are allowing these Hippocratic energies to run the show, it's chaos. We did just have a number of messages in the last month that spoke about chaotic energy being released. Once that smokescreen of chaotic energies, bait and switch, opposite day, irony, paradox, once all of that is released and this golden energy can come to the surface, we can have meaningful, secure, balanced interactions as a new norm. But the chaotic energy had to be cleared so that we could see accurately where this pattern of sabotage and inauthentic energy was causing a wobble. So masculines, it does require for you to really spend time allowing that golden energy in your heart's knowing to be permitted to be there. To feeling the security of it. I forget who did the quote, but I've seen one recently that said, make all of your decisions from the secure aspect of you. So many times we make these self-sabotaging decisions from an insecure point of focus, a fear, a worthiness issue, an assessment of self that's not accurate, a projection. But this is saying, catch yourself out in that. Trust that this journey that you find yourself on, especially if you're at this place in the reading, this far in, that you have what it takes, you are doing it. I see you, the divine sees you, your feminine sees you. You've got this. Continue stripping away all of those defense mechanisms that don't accurately represent who you are. What can we see in the near future, masculines? Ooh, sovereignty from the fear, Lord of earned success. Here is, so we saw the Six of Swords as that message, the invitation to shift your internal paradigm. The way, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. When you come into this individuated energy where you're no longer ego aligned with your trauma, everything you look at changes because your seed point of consciousness has changed from fear to love, from brokenness to wholeness. Everything that's happened in your life is happening for you to wake up to this awareness of how grand you are. I just heard by Mir Bishdushane. So, masculines, there's a tender little seedling in this card. And so foster this seedling of hope and really sit with this message for the next while after this reading finds you. I'm recording it during Lionsgate Portal, but you can do this and evoke this energy at any time this reading finds you. Advice: slow and steady wins the race. Diligence: one thought captive at a time, switched for a better feeling assessment, coming out of the fear into the light. It's a discipline. It's a free will invitation. You are not forced to do the work. You're not forced to do this. But as you mine this gold on the deepest levels, you will not want to say no to this process. I'm hearing for all of those drawn to the reading, especially this far, there's no going back. It's only a matter of time until you understand how blessed, how divine, how abundant, how loved, and how loving you really are. Okay, that is such an honor to channel through masculines, and I salute you, I commend you, Godspeed. Many blessings. Bye for now.